Hi everyone, my name is Jas, and today I would like to share with you two books reviews on a subject which I think will be beneficial for most of us. Have you ever been in a situation where you felt that you could do more if you had a little bit of power, or you could be more beneficial for mankind if you had more influence, or if you just felt that life could be better if you are much more assertive and much more persuasive? Now, I had those questions before, years back in my life, and one of the things that worried me the most was if the opposite sex probably found me unattractive because I was not assertive, I was not influential, I was not powerful enough. So what happened was that during the course of me wanting to have more power, much more influence, and to be more assertive and much more firm in my life, I told myself that I need to find new knowledge. So the knowledge that I wanted to gather was more about how power can be applied practically in your daily life. So what I did was I googled, and then I found certain interesting subjects being discussed, and one of the more prominent names coming out was always this author by the name of Robert Greene. Now, you probably have heard of Robert Greene before. He has written countless books, and most of the books are on the subjects of dynamics, social dynamics. One particular book that catapulted him to fame was this book called The 48 Laws of Power. Yeah, I have it here now. Okay, so if you are a student of power and you want to learn more things about influential techniques or being persuasive on how you can be much more assertive, or just climb up the ladders of power and influence, I suggest that you get this book, okay? 48 Laws of Power. Why? Simply because Robert Greene has provided an intensive and extensive research on the subject of power. And when I say that he does extensive and intensive research, I really mean intensive and extensive. He has dived into the lives and profiles of many personalities, many historical figures like Napoleon Bonaparte, Leonardo da Vinci, the four Renaissance artists, and how they got their way through their social circles and such, and how they employed power and influence in their lives to get themselves ahead. Okay, so Robert Greene profiles all these examples into the 48 laws of power, principles that you can utilize, and I found it to be very beneficial in terms of using it practically in your social, in your career, or in your personal lives. Seriously, okay. Just to give you an example, there is this particular principle that I like to use, or rather I use to apply in my life, and it's this law it's law number 3, and it's called conceal your intentions. So what Robert Greene tries to say here is that at any point of time, even if you have grand goals, even if you have a huge vision on how things should be for your life or perhaps for others, you should always try as much to get yourself not exposing it. You see, because one of the things that we know about human nature is that people get envious very easily. So what it means is that if you are to share good things, great ideas, either people are happy for you, while there are also a majority of those around you who probably feel envious, and they will do whatever they can to actually not bring that idea of yours into reality. So concealing your intentions is one of the power, or the law of power, that Robert Greene tries to share with his readers, saying that in order for you to be a much more powerful figure in whatever context that you want to have, you have to conceal your intentions. Do not make everything known. You see, the problem with this is that these days a lot of people use social media to let everybody know what's happening in their world. So the problem is that if you tell people what your plans are, it's easier for them to actually perhaps create a counterproductive plan to just put you aside or something like that. So I found that it was a practical advice. It was a practical thing to do, and it's quite simple, because basically what you need to do is not to share with people what you intend to do, and just zip it, just keeping it quiet. Be the quiet worker. You get to achieve more, because when you don't announce things, people will not have a yardstick to judge you by. See, so just keep on doing what you need to do. You just conceal your intentions, lower down people's expectations. So what happens is that when people have a lower expectations of whatever you can achieve, and then you surpass those expectations, you'll be deemed as much more powerful than you probably would have done if you had just set out a lot of things about what you wanted to do. You get me so far? Yeah, so the 48 laws of power is one example of that manual about what influence and assertiveness can do for your life. All right, now the second book that I would like to share with you is this book by this author called Blaine Lee. And the interesting thing about this book is that this book is written for the good guys, meaning that if you want to be someone who's influential, you want to be much more persuasive, you want to be more powerful, but not wanting to be the Machiavelli type of power figure, you know, you don't want to manipulate people. Robert Greene, you know, the ideas in this book probably will make you be seen as a manipulator, but if you want to have an enriched, wholesome kind of power figure type of philosophy or concept, I suggest you read this book called The Power Principle. So The Power Principle is a book which discusses three concepts about power. First is called the coercive power. What happens is that coercive power is what powerful people can do to you. Okay, so remember the first one is power. The coercive power is what people can do to you. So if I'm your boss and I tell you that, hey, if you don't come in for work tomorrow, I'm going to cut your pay in half, that is me telling you I'm powerful because I can do something to you. I can take away some kind of benefits or rewards from your life. You know, so that is what a lot of despots or perhaps dictators can do. You know, if you don't listen to me, I'll take away your freedom. Those are the kind of things which we will associate coercive power with. Okay, so that's the first type of power. The second type of power is what we call the utility power. The utility power is a function where I know that you can do something beneficial for me, and I also can do something beneficial for you. So utility power is a dynamic where the connective word is for. That means what I can do for you. So it can be as perhaps a colleague saying that, you know, just if you are able to cover me for today, I will perhaps treat you lunch, something as simplistic as that. So it's basically something that is a win-win situation. And if you can do something for me, I can do something for you also. So that's the second type of power. And lastly, the whole idea of what principle-centered power is all about, okay, or the power principle is basically what a lot of politicians will say when they want to get elected, and you always hear the connective word a lot of times. What is the connective word? It's called with, you know, so what we can do together. So you always hear politicians saying that, you know, I can only do so much, but with your support, we can achieve a lot more in our nation building. Familiar? Yeah, so the power principle discusses this concept about the ability to empower people by making them feel that they are part of your journey. So if you say a lot of things like we, us, you know, what we can do with each other, you will be seen as a much more progressive leader. You'll be seen as someone who is always empowering, and people want to be associated with good power. Okay, so this book by Blaine Lee discusses the power principle. So ladies and gentlemen, that is in essence the two books that I've read on about and some of the core ideas that the authors try to bring across to the readers. If you have time, go to the library, look for Blaine Lee's The Power Principle or Robert Greene's The 48 Powers or The 48 Laws of Power. And if you are a student, an avid student of about power and influence or persuasion and such, then these two books are a must read. So till I share with you more book reviews and more great insights, I'll see you then. Bye bye.